Stephen A., what do you think? Your team, a playoff team this year?
I'm not sure yet. I think the defense is playoff caliber. There's no question about that. Offensively, there's a lot of questions. James Conner went down with an ankle injury, but this kid, Benny Snell, had 113 yards, if I remember correctly, on 19 carries. I was very, very impressed with him. He's not just big and rough and rugged, but he's got some speed to him. I think that he might be the guy of the future at that running back position. I love the fact that James Washington is back there with Juju Smith-Schuster. Deontay Johnson obviously has got some electrifying speed. He can make some things happen, even though he dropped a couple of passes last night. The thing that, believe it or not, concerns me is Big Ben Roethlisberger. Only from this standpoint, I think reading through his progressions, I think that was still there. His football IQ is still there. The arm strength is still there. But his mobility, I think, looked a bit suspect, of course, even though he scampered for 11 yards on one play for a first down. But I also think that his ability to shred off tacklers the way he did in the past, I don't think that's any longer there. And remember, that was his gift when it came to extending plays. And this is when he had the likes of Antonio Brown with Juju Smith-Schuster or others even before then, like Santonio Holmes and Mike Wallace and other guys there throughout his illustrious career. Ben Roethlisberger has been a guy, he didn't outrun anybody per se. He would just shrug off tacklers and extend plays that way. If he can't do that, how effective is their offense going to be? We can't forget that Daniel Jones threw an ill-advised interception, saw pressure coming his way to his right, still tried to get rid of the ball instead of holding on to it. And as a result, it flooded up in the air, and Cam Hayward ultimately intercepted it. That was following the T.J. Watt interception. The reality is that the Giants, even with Saquon Barkley running the ball as ineffective as he was able to run the football, was still in a position to possibly escape with this game if they didn't make some foolhardy mistakes like the one I just pointed out. So I look at the Steelers' defense, and I've got all the confidence in the world. I look at their offense, and I think it's a question mark at this particular moment in time. I anticipate that they will compete, but the AFC is tough with Houston, with Kansas City, obviously with Tennessee, with Baltimore, with New England in the AFC East, with Buffalo. There's a lot of teams to look at. I think the Steelers are going to make the postseason, but I don't think it'll be as easy as people think.
I think the Steelers are a playoff team. I think they showed it last night. Yes, even against the Giants. Let's not forget that Mike Tomlin, future Hall of Fame coach, was 8-8 last year without his quarterback. First, you have one of the greatest set of triplets of all time, right? You have Roethlisberger, and you have AB, and you have Le'Veon Bell. Then AB and Le'Veon Bell are gone, and then Roethlisberger's gone. And what does Mike Tomlin do? He still doesn't have a losing season. This man is incapable of having a losing season. He's too competitive. And that's this is a coach's league. The Steelers are always going to be solid with Mike Tomlin there. Stephen A., you mentioned Benny Snell Jr. going for 113 yards on 19 carries. He's not fast. His 40 time was not good at the combine. But he's 5'10", 225. Dude's like a little Mike Tyson. And look, Juju Smith-Schuster showed after last year, well, can he really be a lead wideout considering he's not opposite AB anymore? I think the answer is yes. I think last night was some evidence. But the main thing to me is this, and by the way, the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade really, I think, solidified that defense last year and allowed them to go 8-8. But the main thing for me is this. I'm going to go back to Mike Tomlin's introductory press conference, right? When it was like, where did this guy come from? Mike Tomlin, he got the head coaching job? Remember what he said when he was introduced to Steelers fans in the world as the new head coach, as the next Steelers head coach? And they don't have very many of them, the Steelers. They pick a guy, they go with him forever. And usually that guy has a lot of success. Tomlin said, run the ball, stop the run. Steelers football. I'll never forget. Because the way he delivered it, and I know the game has changed, and you have to have a vertical passing game, and Roethlisberger showed that. He looked like, listen, he's also a future Hall of Famer, and he's approaching 40, and he's an old guy, but you could not expect more from a guy off that long. At his age, to suddenly step in, he looked, I thought, really good considering the circumstances, and more or less like Roethlisberger's just picking up where he left off. But the main thing is, when a coach like Tomlin has the kind of team that he really likes, he's shown he can do the vertical passing game and all that stuff, but when he has the kind of team he really likes, look out. This Steelers team showed yesterday They can run the ball and stop the run. Steelers football, I got to think that Mike Tomlin is loving this, and I think this team is heading for the playoffs.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.